boy, do I have stories for you guys about my whole jaw surgery experience. Hey guys, it's Kelah and welcome back to my channel. So I know it's been like a super long time since I've done a video. I think I uploaded a video somewhere in the beginning or middle of March, sometime in that area. So it's been like at least 3 or 4 months since I've uploaded that video. Of course, when I uploaded that video, that was a video that I had recorded before I had my jaw surgery. So since then, I have just been taking time to heal, and boy, do I have stories for you guys about my whole jaw surgery experience and all of the drama that happened. I'm sure you can tell from the title that clearly a lot happened, and so if you're interested in hearing all about that, then for sure stick around and watch this video. But before we get into that, I do want to say that now that I'm back and I can actually talk again, because I really couldn't talk for like the first I wouldn't say 1 to 2 months, and then I spent another few months just like getting comfortable to where I felt like when I talked I sound normal enough. I attempted to make videos like several times, and then when I watched the video I just could not bring myself to upload it because I felt like I could barely understand myself, and so I doubt that you guys could understand me the way that I would want you to. So I didn't upload those videos, and after I was able to talk better, I also attempted to make a video just explaining my jaw surgery experience, but that, you know, like the footage got lost, and it was just a whole, not the footage got lost, oh no, the footage, well, I guess it was lost because I was making the video and then I ran out of space and I didn't know, and so I only had like half of that video, so obviously I didn't continue. I just kind of was like, I'm over it. Let me just take a moment and like gather myself. So then my friend was like, Kelah, you might want to do a video because people are gonna think something happened to you. And I was like, I don't know if anybody really cares about if like I go missing. But you know, for the people who do care, I think that it's only fair that I put a video out there, and I'm definitely planning on being more consistent now that I am more or less healed from everything that occurred. So I'm back, I'm better, and I will be uploading videos more consistently now. Another thing about the channel is that you guys know that I've been mostly doing my weight loss journey, which I will continue to do that. Obviously, progress that I had made, I have kind of lost during the healing process for the jaw surgery. And it wasn't really because of the surgery, because I actually lost weight during that. It was more so after healing where I kind of gained the weight. But the point that I'm trying to make is that I'm still going to be talking about my weight loss, but I also want to talk about other things in my life. Of course, I've been showing you guys my house decor and things of that nature, and try to show when I travel. But I'm kind of getting into fashion now a little bit. You know, I'm not really like a fashion girl, but I've been getting into trying to make my wardrobe a little bit more stylish and just, you know, kind of like treat myself a little bit better, you know. Just love myself at the current state that I'm in. I feel like I haven't really been able to enjoy life because I keep holding off and waiting to meet this like weight loss goal that I have in my mind, and I'm not appreciating my body where it's at right now. And so I want to just go ahead and explore things that I've always wanted to, which is like fashion and a little bit more things related to like self-care, just experiences that I would never do because I'm like, oh, I'm too big for that, or oh, I can't enjoy it because I'm overweight, which is weird. in a way if you think about it. But yeah, so I want to do more things like that. So let me know in the comments if you guys would be into it. Honestly, I just enjoy doing videos about things going on in my life. So I'm probably just gonna make videos about it anyway. I just really hope that you guys want to see it. Okay, so let's jump into like my jaw surgery. I just want to talk a little bit about how it was and everything else that happened after the surgery. So on February 14th, which was Valentine's Day, that's when my surgery was. I got up super early and I had to be to the hospital for 5 o'clock. I think 4:30 or 5 o'clock for my surgery, which was supposed to happen at like 6 o'clock. So I got to the hospital, did all my paperwork and insurance work. And then, you know, they took me in the back. I put all of my belongings in a locker. And then they put me in like this room where I guess they prepped you for surgery. And I was able to have my husband there and my mom. Oh wait, I don't even remember. Like, it's so hazy. I can't remember if my husband and my mom were at the hospital. I think it was just my husband who came to the hospital, but my mom had traveled to the US to be with me. So she had traveled from the Bahamas to the US to be with me. And so she was at home that morning, and then my husband and I went to the hospital. So at the hospital, I met the doctors, I met the nurses, I met the anesthesiologists, and they basically prepped me, told me what was gonna happen in the surgery and everything like that. I know the surgery was supposed to be for 3 hours, and so that's what I thought up until then that it would be. I got my anesthesia, and honestly, I don't even recall when I fell asleep, because I've had anesthesia before, and the last time I had anesthesia, I was still awake when they rolled me into the operating room, and then I kind of blacked out right after that. But this time, I was knocked out before I even left my room. So anyway, had the surgery. Of course, that went quickly for me, but it ended up being 5 hours instead of 3 hours. And it was basically, you know, the doctor basically said that it was due to the density of my bones. And he mentioned, you know, me being a person who is black, that I guess we have more dense bone. And so it was kind of difficult for him to work around the nerves or whatever. I don't know all of the details. I just know it took 2 hours longer than I thought it was going to take. But the surgery went fine. I didn't have any problems with the surgery. And so I just stayed into the hospital overnight. Now here's the thing. So I think everything started to go downhill after the surgery, which is because while I was in the hospital room, they gave me painkillers, but then they also gave me a steroid, I guess to help with the healing process, or I don't know, for infection and whatnot. And I didn't have any problems when they gave the steroid to me in the hospital. So it really wasn't a problem when I was in the hospital. So the next day they let me leave. I went home. I had my prescription medications and everything. They gave me hydrocodone for pain, and then they gave me a steroid for, like I said, infections to take. And I don't know what it, I think it, well, I know what it is now, but at the time I didn't know what was going on, because when I took the painkiller, I just had like this reaction in my body where it was like my body felt like it was getting swollen by the minute. Like my throat felt like it was getting swollen, and like my nose area, everything just felt like it felt harder to breathe. And keep in mind that I had, like, my mouth it wasn't wired shut, but it was closed with like rubber bands, like very thick, heavy rubber bands, to the point where I couldn't move my mouth or anything. So my mouth is closed, and like my nose is super stuffed up, and I can't really breathe through it because of the surgery. You know, because my bones are broken, and then also they had the breathing tube down there, so it's all swollen from having the breathing tube, and there's like a lot of blood and phlegm and everything back there, so I can barely breathe through my nose. And I'm I was mostly breathing through my mouth at the time. Even though my mouth was shut, I could still get like air in and out. But when I took the hydrocodone, like I started to swell up a little bit. And I thought to myself, I was like, oh, this is weird. Like, I don't think I'm supposed to feel like this after taking this painkiller. But I just kind of, it wasn't like extreme. So I just kind of let it go. But then when it was time to take my steroid, I took the steroid and I immediately, like a minute later, felt like my throat closing in, my nose closing, like I could not, it was so hard to breathe that I got scared, and we called the doctors and they essentially was like, okay, come back to the hospital. So I went back to the hospital. At this point, they still don't really know why this happened. So they just kept me, they just monitored me basically for most of the night and gave me my pain meds while I was in the hospital. And I was fine, I guess, for the most part. While I was in the hospital, it just slowly dissipated. And they just released me and I went home. So we were thinking that it was the painkillers. And so the doctors basically, the team of doctors who I worked with, they were like, okay, don't take the painkillers. Just take the steroid for the inflammation and try to take some Tylenol for the pain. And so I went home and I'm like, okay, I can't take the painkiller. It's causing a reaction. I'm just going to take Tylenol. Well, I took the Tylenol and I have a reaction too, but the reaction isn't like extreme. It wasn't like the one I had to the point where I felt like I had to go to the hospital. But it was extreme enough that I felt like I didn't want to take the Tylenol anymore. I didn't want to take it. And so, and keep in mind, I'm in pain. Like, I'm truly in pain because I wish I had really done more research or that I had more knowledge about what it means to go through jaw surgery. But it was so rough. So a couple hours pass, I think about 4 hours, and then I go and I take the steroid. This was the worst reaction I had. But I didn't want to make my husband and my mom go back to the hospital. So I tried to like push through it. And then eventually my husband went to work and it got so bad to the point where it was like, okay, I can't deal with it anymore. Like, I feel like something's gonna happen to me because I cannot breathe. And keep in mind, I'm thinking that this is because of the surgery. Like, I know that the medication is doing something, but I'm thinking like, oh, the surgery is just making it worse than it really is. But at a point, it got so bad that I had to call the ambulance. And I told him, well, oh my God, I keep saying keep in mind. But at this point in time, I can't talk. So it's really hard to communicate what's going on with me. I'm trying to like write it out for my mom on, where is it? So I have this board and I was literally just writing out what I could on that board for my mom to just kind of explain to her what's going on. And I basically was like, call the ambulance. I cannot breathe. I promise you, it was so scary because I don't want to cry. But anyway, it was so scary because I really truly felt like I was going to die. I could not breathe. I was struggling for air and I was just wishing that it would go away. So the ambulance got there and then they gave me an EpiPen. And immediately, like a minute later, everything was fine. And I was like, wow, okay, so at this point, I'm like, okay, for sure it has to be the steroid, because that's what I took, and that's when I had the most, like the worst reaction of all. So I know, okay, it's the steroid. I really shouldn't take it. I call the doctors. Well, my mom calls the doctors, because she's the one with me, to explain to them, hey, I'm going to the hospital because, something else happened and I couldn't breathe again. And at this point, I start to get a little frustrated, because when I got to the emergency room, the emergency doctor who was assigned to me, he didn't believe me. He was like, oh, you can't really be allergic to steroids. That's not possible. And I was frustrated because, yes, you went to medical school. Yes, you know more than me when it comes to medical things. But I know my body, and I know me, and I know when something's wrong. And when every time I took the steroid, I keep not being able to breathe, and I keep having this reaction. And even though I had the first EpiPen and that helped it, while I was in the emergency room, it started to flare up again. And so they had to give me another EpiPen. And I think it was just because the first time, it helped, but it wasn't enough to really soothe whatever was happening within me. So I had the second EpiPen. They watched me. They released me a couple hours later. Oh, well, let's back up. So while I'm in this emergency room, this doctor is asking me, oh, are you just had surgery. Do you feel anxious? Do you feel this or that? So he was essentially implying that everything that was happening to me was mental. And I could see the validity in asking those questions, but at the same time, seriously, I'm not the type of person, and it's not saying that I could never be, but I'm not the type of person who's gonna make everything so big in my head that my body starts to physically react to what's going on. Usually things like that don't happen to me, and I've had surgery before, and I've taken hydrocodone before, and I've been in pain before, and I've been fine. So I feel like I know my body enough to know when something's wrong. I was definitely very scared because I felt like nobody was listening to me, and even my surgeons, even though I told them I didn't want to take the steroid anymore, they told me that I didn't have to take it. But even at some point, they got to the point where I'm not sure if they believed me either. So that was frustrating in itself. So, and I stopped taking the steroid after the third time. You would think I would have learned from the first two times, but clearly I didn't. I think the doctor got into my head when he told me it was all in my mind. My doctors kept saying to just still take the steroid. Me and my mom were very wary about it at this point. So my mom says to me, okay, let's not take a full dose. Let's only take a quarter of a dose. So when it's time to take the steroid, I take the quarter of a dose. And guys, I kid you not, the same thing happened. But this time, because I only took a quarter of a dose, it was just as bad as last time, but it didn't last as long. So it lasted for about an hour or two. And then I was fine for about 3 to 4 hours. And then 3 to 4 hours later, it just came back with a vengeance. I couldn't breathe, and I was starting to get lightheaded. I felt like I was about to pass out. So I had to call the ambulance again, and I was so frustrated. And at that point, I told myself, I said, okay, if I survive this, I'm not taking any drugs for the remainder of my healing period. I'm not taking painkillers. I'm not taking steroids. I'm not taking Tylenol. I'm not taking anything. I'm just gonna have to deal with the pain. So I ended up in the hospital again. So when the ambulance came, they gave me an epi shot again. Then they took me to the hospital. I was fine because they gave me the epi shot. The nurse at the hospital did not believe me that the steroid was the problem. She said, I'm going to give you a different steroid. It's not the same steroid that you're currently taking. I told her, I said, I don't want the steroid. And she said, okay, I'll talk with the doctor and see. So then she comes back. And at that time, I wasn't aware because I wasn't like paying attention to her. But she gave me that steroid and I didn't even know, and the reaction started again. My throat started closing up. I started feeling like I was gonna pass out. And I saw her walking away and I said, hey ma'am, what did you just give me? You gave me something, right? What did you give me? And she said, oh, I gave you another steroid. I said, and the thing is, I keep saying I said, but I wasn't saying anything because I couldn't talk. My mouth was bound shut. So this is me trying to furiously type on my phone. And I'm like, what did you give me? I can't breathe. I'm allergic to steroids for some reason. I don't know why, but I can't take steroids. I told you that I couldn't take steroids and you gave it to me anyway. And she's like trying to set up like a heart monitor and all these things. I'm like, I'm really about to like pass out and you're trying to set up a heart monitor because you don't believe me. But anyway, they gave me the epi shot and it went away, but then it came back again 3 hours later. They gave me another epi shot and then they put me in a, they took me from out of the emergency room and they put me in a hospital room overnight. And I needed a third epi shot, and then after that I was fine. I didn't need any other epi shots. I told them I didn't want to take anything. They tried to give me several other things. I don't know what it is with the hospitals in the US, why they feel like they have to give you some type of drug while you're in there, but I just basically turned it down and they basically just wrote on my file that I refused medical treatment or something like that. Which is fine, I guess. Sure, I'm refusing medical treatment because you guys are not listening to me. Like I'm telling you that I'm reacting to this drug and everybody keeps trying to give me steroids. But anyway, so I didn't have any problems after that. I left the hospital. I stopped taking painkillers. I stopped taking the steroids. And basically they just wrote on my file, you know, that I had anaphylactic shock due to taking steroids and that I shouldn't be given steroids. So that's basically what happened. They gave me a prescription for EpiPen, so I do have an EpiPen with me just in case, you know, I need it anytime in the future. Hopefully I won't need it because I'm not planning on taking steroids ever unless I'm carefully monitored by somebody who's taking what I'm saying seriously, but I'm not planning on taking any steroids. But I do have a peace of mind knowing that I do have an epi shot in the house. So if I accidentally end up taking a steroid, at least I can take the epi shot myself and then head to the hospital instead of like calling an ambulance, because ambulances are expensive, guys. So, oh my God, if you guys are still here after that story, please go ahead and put like a strong arm emoji in the comments so I can know that you guys made it. You listened to my story. My lighting is terrible now. So I'm about to go make Martel's lunch for the week so that he has something to eat and he doesn't have to like worry about buying food or anything like that. I don't really worry about making lunch for me because I work from home more so than he does. I'm gonna make some chili and I'm probably gonna do that with some sweet potatoes. So here's the chili. I'm just gonna let that continue to cook down, and I'm gonna get the sweet potatoes and bake them in the oven. Hey guys, so Martel's food is cooking, but I wanted to go ahead and show you a couple of items that I got from Burlington. They're just a couple of shirts that I got because I felt like I had like a bunch of, not a bunch, but I have bottoms, but I don't really have any tops. So I went and grabbed a few. So this one is the first one. So it's just a plain, not plain, but it's a like ivory white shirt that has like some yellowish stripes in there. I like that it feels pretty lightweight, and for the summer you won't be too hot. I mean, it's from Burlington. I don't know what type of quality they have, but I'm trying to find the material. So this is 100% rayon. But yeah, I'm just thinking, like, normally I might not get a shirt like this, but I'm thinking that I could probably style this and look pretty, I don't know, chic. I guess chic is the word I want to use. So I got that. And then I got this cute shirt. So when I get shirts like these where my arm is out, I almost never just wear it out like that. I always put a cardigan over it. But I got this cute polka dot, I guess, I don't know, I guess you would call this like a taupe kind of color. It has like a pinkish undertone to it. But yeah, this is the shirt, and it has like these gold, I wouldn't call them polka dot because they're a little bit more oval shaped than circular. But I think they're pretty cute. And I'll probably, so I'll probably just wear this with like a cardigan. And then finally I got this white shirt that I think is so cute. It's it has these frills on the side, and it says amour, which is love in French, obviously. And yeah, I'm learning French, so I thought it was cute to have a shirt like this. So I probably just wear these with some jeans and some sneakers. But yeah, those are the clothing items that I got. Okay guys, so I'm gonna end the video here. I need to go and study because I'm actually studying for a certification, and I need to get the knowledge basically. So I'm gonna go ahead and end the video here, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.